Just like everyday people in a cross-country follow the same routine of the day, they wake up early, grab their coffee, having an amazing breakfast, and sit down reading their favorite newspaper. From that they began to read the most important news or read the local news of what is going on to their lives. In a nation where information flows like a mighty river, the history of American news is a tale of evolution, from the printed word to the digital age. It all began in 1690 when the first newspaper, Public Occurrences, was published in Boston. But it was only the beginning. From the penny press and yellow journalism to the pivotal role during the Civil War, newspapers shaped public opinion, safeguarding democracy. Then came the birth of electronic media. In 1920, KDKA marked the dawn of radio, bringing news and entertainment into every home. Television took it a step further, captivating audiences with moving images, anchormen, and journalists who became household names. But with the digital revolution, newspapers and electronic media transformed again. The internet connected the world, reshaping how we consume news. In 1690, the first newspaper in America, Public Occurrences, both foreign and domestic, is published in Boston, Massachusetts. However, it is suppressed after just one issue. 1704, the Boston Newsletter is established by Postmaster John Campbell. It becomes the first continuously published newspaper in the colonies. Then, in 1735, John Peter Zenger, a publisher in New York, is acquitted of seditious libel charges, establishing an important precedent for freedom of the press in America. 1751, Benjamin Franklin begins publishing the Pennsylvania Gazette, which becomes one of the most influential colonial newspapers. 1765, the Stamp Act imposes a tax on all printed materials in the American colonies, leading to widespread opposition and boycotts by the colonists. 1776, Thomas Paine publishes his influential pamphlet Common Sense, which bolsters support for American independence and spreads revolutionary ideas. 1787, the United States Constitution is drafted, including the First Amendment, which guarantees freedom of the press as a fundamental right. 1791, the First Amendment to the United States Constitution is ratified, enshrining freedom of the press in the Bill of Rights. 1833, the New York Sun is founded by Benjamin Day, pioneering the penny press model by offering newspapers at an affordable price, revolutionizing the industry. 1835, the New York Herald, founded by James Gordon Bennett Sr., introduces innovations like international news coverage and financial reporting. 1848, the California Gold Rush leads to the establishment of numerous newspapers in the West, including the San Francisco-based Alta California. 1861 to 1865, the American Civil War sparks a surge in newspaper circulation as papers play a crucial role in disseminating news and propaganda. 1868, the Associated Press, AP, is founded as a cooperative news gathering and distribution organization aiming to provide news coverage to multiple newspapers. 1895, William Randolph Hearst purchases the New York Journal and starts a fierce circulation battle with Joseph Pulitzer's New York World, giving rise to sensationalized journalism known as yellow journalism. 1918, the Sedition Act of 1918 is passed during World War I, leading to the suppression of some newspapers critical of the government, raising concerns about freedom of the press. 1920, radio broadcasting gains popularity, challenging the dominance of newspapers as a primary source of news and information. 1933, the Newspaper Reorganization Act, also known as the National Industrial Recovery Act, is passed as part of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal, aiming to assist the struggling newspaper industry during the Great Depression. 1938, the Fair Labor Standards Act is passed, establishing the first federal minimum wage for newspaper workers. 1947, the Taft-Hartley Act is enacted, placing restrictions on the power of labor unions, including those representing newspaper employees. 1954, the landmark Supreme Court case New York Times Company v. Sullivan establishes the actual malice standard for defamation cases involving public figures, providing greater protection for freedom of the press. 1971, the Pentagon Papers, a classified government study on the Vietnam War, are leaked to the New York Times and later published, igniting a legal battle over press freedom. 1991, press freedom. 1991, the World Wide Web becomes publicly available, laying the foundation for the digital revolution in journalism and the rise of online news platforms. 2005, the Huffington Post blog site is launched, contributing to the growth of digital digital media. 2021. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerates the decline of print newspapers as more readers turn to online sources for news and information. This timeline provides a brief overview of the history of newspapers in the United States, highlighting key milestones and significant events that have shaped the industry. Now let's see the timeline of the history of electronic media. 1837. Samuel Morse develops the telegraph, a system for transmitting messages over long distances using electrical signals. The telegraph revolutionizes communication and paves the way for electronic media. 1876. Alexander Graham Bell invents the telephone, allowing for voice communication over long distances and further expanding the possibilities of electronic media. 1897. Guglielmo Marconi successfully demonstrates wireless telegraphy, laying the foundation for radio communication and broadcasting. 1906. Lee de Forest invents the Audion vacuum tube, a significant advancement in electronic amplification which becomes crucial for the development of radio broadcasting. 1920. KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, becomes the first commercially licensed radio station in the United States, marking the beginning of regular radio broadcasts. 1927. The Federal Radio Commission (FRC) is established to regulate the growing number of radio stations and address concerns over frequency interference. 1939. Television is introduced at the New York World's Fair, showcasing the potential of visual electronic media. 1941. The Federal Communications Commission (FCC) is created, replacing the FRC as the regulatory body overseeing broadcasting and telecommunications in the United States. 1948. The first commercial television station, WRGB in Schenectady, New York, begins regular broadcasts. 1951. Color television broadcasting begins, allowing for more vibrant and immersive viewing experiences. 1962. The Telstar satellite is launched, enabling the transmission of television signals and telephone calls across the Atlantic Ocean, facilitating global communication. 1969. The Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, ARPANET, a precursor to the Internet, is created by the United States Department of Defense, establishing the foundation for electronic information exchange. 1972. The first email is sent over ARPANET, marking a significant milestone in electronic communication. 1975. Home video recording becomes possible with the introduction of the Betamax and VHS formats, allowing viewers to record and watch television programs at their convenience. 1981. CNN Cable News Network is launched, becoming the first 24-hour news network, transforming the way news is delivered and consumed. 1991. The World Wide Web becomes publicly available, leading to a revolutionary shift in electronic media as information and content become easily accessible online. 1998. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, is signed into law, addressing issues of copyright protection and digital content distribution in the Internet age. 2005. YouTube is founded, revolutionizing online video sharing and paving the way for user-generated content platforms. 2007. Apple introduces the iPhone, ushering in the era of smartphones and mobile media consumption. 2010. The rise of streaming services like Netflix and Hulu begins to reshape the entertainment industry, providing on-demand access to a wide range of media content. 2015. Live streaming gains popularity with the launch of platforms like Periscope and Facebook Live, allowing users to broadcast and interact with audiences in real time. 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerates the shift toward digital media consumption as people rely on electronic platforms for work, education, and entertainment while staying at home. This timeline provides an overview of the history of electronic media in the United States, highlighting key developments and advancements that have shaped the landscape of communication and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.